Hey, what's up, guys? I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Just wanted to provide you a little bit of an update as to what's going on across North Alabama and southern Middle Tennessee as we get ready to approach the lunch hour. Now, I can tell you that a number of different counties are reporting impassable roads. I know Colbert County is essentially closed for the day. They said all county roads at this point are deemed impassable. I want to show you radar here for just a couple of seconds. And as a matter of fact, if we have the ability to take it full, let's just go ahead and kind of take a full screen view of radar. Thank you so much. We're talking about a lot of widespread snow across northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, down into Franklin County. That snow actually started yesterday evening, continued to some extent once we got into the overnight, and is now continuing as we head into the later part of the morning, early into the afternoon. We're still talking about widespread snow up across southern Middle Tennessee. We're beginning to see widespread snow filter in to a good majority of Madison County. We can come back out to me, but keep the radar on the TV if you don't mind. But I also want to call your attention to the really distinct pink and blue line there, kind of across southern Madison County, getting into portions of Morgan County and then down into Coleman County and across a chunk of northeast Alabama. That is a little bit of frozen precipitation. Those folks over in far northeast Alabama, southern Madison County, Morgan County, and then down into Coleman County, they really haven't seen a whole lot of snow. Instead, what they've seen is quite a bit of ice, and that ice is going to continue probably at least for the next couple of hours. Now, this is a really neat analysis tool that I have the ability to show you current road conditions across the Tennessee Valley. We're talking about snow-covered roads across Lauderdale, Colbert, and Franklin County, but we're talking about icy roads, Morgan County, southern Madison County, down into Coleman County. Now, southern Coleman County, southern DeKalb, and Marshall counties, they're just talking about wet roadways, which is actually a bit of good news. But I want to call your attention to the two other things of note there. We're talking about icy conditions across much of Morgan County, down into Coleman County, and we're talking about icy conditions across Madison County. Back to northwest Alabama, Lauderdale, Colbert, Franklin counties, and then up across southern Middle Tennessee, they are talking about snow-covered roadways because, of course, like I mentioned, they have seen snow for the last several hours. In those locations, the snow actually started last night. And that's where I find my friends Nick Kuzma and Simon Williams, who are both very bravely tackling the elements out in northwest Alabama. Now, Simon, you've been there since last night. How was your drive over last night over in Florence?
Yeah, it was easy enough. I mean, there was hardly any snow coming down. It was the exact same pattern that you were describing. A little bit of light snow through the evening, into the late overnight portions, and then into this morning. And then it has turned the precipitation that is into ice. That's what we're feeling right now. You might be hearing it coming off the camera, just pinging off the top here. It's not snow coming down. It is a little bit more harder ice pellets, maybe, I wouldn't even describe them as hail, just smaller little pieces of ice. But it is true that the roads are still covered with snow, and that is the main layer of precipitation that has stuck around here on the roadways. It's still cold, as you can imagine, which is why we've got this ice, and it has moved, as you said, Jordan, from light snow here in northwest Alabama overnight into now snow-covered roads with ice precipitation. Nick, he made the trip this morning westward from Huntsville, and he encountered a lot of the same stuff. Nick, how was the drive over?
Yeah, it was a little bit different than what you had. I would say for the most part, like you said, your drive wasn't awful. Yeah. My drive, I would say specifically once I started getting more towards the Shoals region, that's when things got really dicey. I was on alternate route 72 coming through Lawrence County, then eventually into Franklin County, into Lauderdale County, and I would definitely say once I got more towards the northwest Alabama area, that's when things started getting more dangerous. That's when I was traveling upwards of probably 10, 15 miles an hour under the posted speed limit, 55 in many places, and it just had to be careful. Most of the situations, the right lane was the only one that was even I'd call passable. The left lane covered with snow, probably an ice layer underneath. I don't want to speculate too much, but that's probably what it was. And then just in terms of the right lane, you could tell that there was one wheel on one side, one wheel on the other side was mostly, that's just people driving. Right. But other than that, I would definitely say if you have to, if you don't have to, absolutely stay off the roads. Right now, we are in Muscle Shoals.
Yeah.
We are off State Route 13. We are in the parking lot of the Days Inn. If you guys in Northwest Alabama know that is, Clark Street is right over here to our right. Right behind the camera is State Route 13. Not many cars on the roads, not many businesses open, and I think that's wise. Enjoy the holiday, folks. Like it is a situation where we have a federal holiday, not a lot of people working. That's probably a good thing. Just stay in, enjoy the basketball that we get coming up later on Fox 54, because these roads are not for the faint of heart.
I actually believe both of you have experience driving in snow in the past life.
Yeah.
So if you had any tips or tricks for the viewers at home, what would you tell them if they have to go out? What are your tips for success, since both of you kind of have experience driving in snow?
Yeah, I think, well, first of all, obviously scrape off your car. Wipe it down first. Let's get that snow off the top of your car. That's going to be really dangerous once you get on the roads. As the wind keeps moving, that snow flies back into somebody driving behind you. So it's not just enough to wipe off the windshield or scrape off the windshield. You want to wipe off the whole top of your car. Make sure there's no extra bits of snow and residue. And if you've got plenty of time, which I would think you would on a day off like this where you're not probably going anywhere, you're not going into work, get that car started a little earlier.
Yeah.
Let that thing warm up for a minute so you can kind of thaw and defrost the whole rest of the car first before you go. Shovel in and around the car too, that whole area, so you can get in and out of wherever you need to go fairly quickly. And I will say, just based on personal experience, having driven last night into this morning, and then a couple counties across the Northwest Alabama area here this morning, I didn't feel like these roads were necessarily unsafe. Now, that doesn't mean you guys should be going out. I'm just saying I didn't feel like it was necessarily dangerous. My life was in danger. I was also going below the speed limit as well, which is, I think, the absolute bare minimum of what you should be doing here on these roads.
Yeah, just in terms of tips, the first tip is if you don't have to drive, don't.
Yeah.
But after that, he makes a really good point. Make sure you go get your car started a little bit earlier. Please make sure that your windshields are clear. They're not fogged up. They're not iced up. If you do not have a scraper, which we will have a scraper later when we're on TV to sort of show people how to more properly use that scraper. If you don't have one, just wait for the ice to thaw. It's not worth it. There was a situation when I was driving earlier where I had the heat all the way up, turned it a little bit down, and then all of a sudden my windshield started freezing up. It didn't get all the way across, thankfully, but just also when you're driving, make sure that you're monitoring how hot the car is inside versus outside, because that matters. And then on top of that, just go slow. That's the biggest thing, is don't be slamming on your brakes. Don't slam on your brakes, because that could cause you to swerve. That could cause you to potentially become at risk to hitting other cars. And then on top of that, it's just easier for when you're making turns. That's always when I see the worst situations with people driving, is when they think they can just go as fast as they usually can on the roads.
Right.
That's not the case. It sounds like common sense, but I think a lot of people, we don't get a lot of snow down here in North Alabama and here in the deep south. Just go slow if you have to drive. Go slow. Make sure you take those turns really slowly and do not slam on the brakes, because that could turn into a dangerous situation for you, whoever's in the car, and whoever else is in the other cars around you on the roadway.
Yeah, one last thing. I spoke to the Florence Lauderdale County EMA this morning, and they reiterated a position that we saw Culver County put out with their EMA as well. The main roads of priority will be interstate, then state routes, then county routes, and then your local neighborhood drive. So if you do need to go anywhere, prioritize taking the interstate, because more resources from the federal and state level will have been active in plowing the snow. It was 11:30 when we saw a snowplow just go right by us here on Highway 13. That was the first actual plow I had seen.
Yeah. I didn't see one the entire drive.
Right, from the drive last night into right now. It took until exactly at 11:30 for me to see a first plow go right through. Now, that doesn't mean there haven't been any. It's just the first one, quite literally, that I saw. So, yes, your local municipality might be out and about getting your local roads, but they will not have gotten them with the frequency or the efficiency as the main interstates, and then the state routes, and then the county routes. But also, you can do your part by shoveling out in your driveway, out in your sidewalk, and just making sure you take care of your neighborhood too.
Excellent words of advice from Nick and Simon. Guys, I'm going to let you go. You're probably dying to get in a car somewhere where it's actually relatively warm, so I'm going to let you guys go. You're both sports guys. Maybe you want to watch a little bit of basketball. I'm going to show you radar just one more time, and I kind of want to impress upon something that Simon and Nick were saying. If you have to be out, prioritize the major roadways. You know, we don't have the same amount of resources here in North Alabama that other places that typically get snow tend to have. So the interstates and the bigger roads, those are going to be maintained better than some of the smaller roadways. And again, we're talking about a combination, it seemed, over there in northwest Alabama. Simon and Nick were kind of hinting at a little bit of ice falling. So a combination of frozen precipitation and snow back across northwest Alabama, probably the same thing across Madison County up into southern Middle Tennessee, with a combination of maybe a little bit of frozen precipitation mixing in with the snow, and then the majority frozen precipitation across Morgan down into Coleman County, and then chunks of northeast Alabama. Hey, that's all for me for the time being. We're going to continue to provide updates on air and online through the course of the afternoon, and then as we head into the evening. For now, I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. Have a great day.